Hey guys, I'm back. Yeah, sorry it's been a little bit of time. I did have quite a bit come up recently, and as you may have noticed, this is not the newest episode of Donkey Kong. I do have an explanation for that, and matter of fact, that's kind of what this video is going to be about. Today, I'm just going to talk about a couple updates regarding the channel. There's been a few things that have come up, a few things that have changed, a few mistakes that may have been made, and a few new things for what's going to be going on in the future. Definitely, trust me, I have been working on some things behind the scenes. I just really haven't had the greatest of opportunities recently. So, to start off, let's talk about where I've been. So, as I'm sure you know, I have not been making too many posts. I have done a couple things just a little bit just to, engage and let you guys know that I haven't, completely fell off the face of the earth. But I did have some tooth problems. I know I've talked about this a little bit before, but they did get a little bit bad. There was a tooth that did not have a good taken care of. There was a cavity between two of my molars. So I wasn't even sure that it was there. I didn't have any pain or anything, and nothing was getting stuck. And I only found out when a different tooth was hurting, so I ended up going to the doctor's office. They took care of that one tooth that was being a pain, but, we just kind of left that other one alone. We did. I was told there was a cavity, and whatever. They were like, you need to get this looked at once you have a chance, and I was like, you know what? I'll get to it when I get to it. 4 weeks later, I'm sitting in the parking lot getting ready to go into my work where I work. 4 weeks later, I'm sitting in the parking lot at my job getting ready to go in and start my shift. When I take a bite of my breakfast and a full third of that tooth falls out. And the funny thing about missing a good portion of your tooth is that tends to hurt a little bit. So that was another couple doctor visits. We ended up getting a root canal done so it doesn't hurt anymore. It still needs to have an appointment done to be extracted, but that was something that ended up coming up and just kind of delaying voice work for a little while. I was very swollen and sore and gross and yuck. Another thing that came up was that it was revealed to me that I have a deviated septum. So I've been getting all these like sinus issues, and that just kind of helped explain a little bit of it. So there's been some news on that doctor's front. So in between these doctor's appointments, we are just kind of dealing with some things internally with the home life. So my wife came to me and she brought it to my attention that we had an opportunity in front of us. We had reached out to a couple people about living arrangements and places that we can go that would be a little bit bigger than a small apartment. So when somebody reached out to us with a idea and a possibility of living in a house with land and no neighbors that will get annoyed with me screaming at the top of my lungs for YouTube videos, that was something that we definitely jumped on, and we did move. So I'm recording this now from our new place. It's much bigger, plenty more space, and I feel a lot more comfortable working with my area here. With that move came a couple things. First and foremost was I changed my job. I am no longer what I was prior, and being that I'm no longer what I was prior, I can announce that I was a banker. I did do banking and accounts and, you know, making change for people, you know, all the typical good banking duties in that. But that was definitely fun. A lot of paperwork, but definitely fun. And I'm happy to have moved on to New Horizons since then. But with every good thing that comes, surely there's going to be a bad thing that comes. And when all of this hit, I was in the middle of my Donkey Kong series. I made a couple videos, I was excited to do more, and I did record more in the lead up to me moving. It was my original intention to record and edit a couple things in advance, so that way I could release them once we get out, you know, when we're either on the road or when we're in our new place. So I did that, and eventually I did get to a point where I could connect to Wi-Fi and try and upload. The only problem that I had was, and I really don't know if this was like something to do with my actual setup or my hardware, or if it was something to do with my microphone or hard drive or whatever the case it was. My audio got corrupted to a point where it kind of cut out every other word or so. I don't know why. And I really didn't feel like dubbing over myself was going to be an adequate solution to that. Especially when a lot of my, you know, content, so far anyway, has been reaction-based. I hadn't played Donkey Kong up to that point, so I didn't want to, like, fake my reactions or anything along those lines. That didn't make sense to me. So, with that in mind, I also didn't have the tools at my disposal to fix it even if I wanted to. You know, I'm not going to go and post up in the back of a U-Haul just to get something going, you know? That really didn't make sense to me. So, unfortunately, it got left where it was. And for all of these things, whether it was moving or my teeth or my recording, you know, setup and everything, just not being in the greatest of places, I was finding these out regularly, right? So I didn't know these were all happening at the same time, and I really didn't want to paint the picture that I was just coming up with these weird, random excuses, right? And I didn't want to keep having them pop up every, you know, couple weeks or so. Oh, hey, I'm not back because this, that, or the other thing. You know, that wasn't a good look. So I chose to ignore it, work on some things behind the scenes, and come back when I'm a little bit more stable. So here I am. I feel a little bit more stable now. We've got everything set up. I've got my desk and my, you know, PC. Everything's looking much nicer than it had before. The only problem is I am missing that piece of foam that goes around your microphone to help with sound. I think one of the cats got to that, so I've got like 3 socks on it for the time being. But nevertheless, that has relatively cleared the air for right now. And I should be all set to start making things again. Regarding Donkey Kong, unfortunately, I have not come up with a way to really make that work the way I want it to. I, you know, without going back and re-recording and trying to get, you know, something out there for the finale. First of all, I don't really know how I'll do it. I don't want to fake reactions when that's all that I've had so far, right? I don't want to, like, you know, just play pretend and be like, oh, I remember this guy, he sucked, and then fucking, I don't know, whatever. That being said, I did beat it, and I do have physical footage of me finishing the final boss of that game. So I'm going to consider this game done. This is going to be me putting Donkey Kong to bed and just kind of wrapping up there. At the end of this video, I will go ahead and display the world art that I had commissioned for this particular game. Maybe at some point I might do something later to try and make amends for what happened here, but for the time being, just so I can move on, well, we're moving on. Alright, and now the fun stuff. So, being that I'm treating this as a sort of comeback, right? Obviously, I'm going to be starting a new game. And I plan to announce that here. But that is not the only thing that I'm going to be announcing. I reached out to somebody in the way of helping me really make it feel like I've put this channel together. I feel like for a little while it's been feeling a little empty. And if I came back, I wanted to do it with a bang. So, you should be able to see a new logo on my channel now. And I've also prepared something else. I hope you like it, and I hope to keep doing things like this in the future. After all, this really is a big part of who I think I am. It's been a lot of fun, and I really want to keep doing this. So, I will see you very, very soon for what we're doing next. Thank you so much for waiting patiently. If you are interested, by all means, you can subscribe and join me in whatever it is we're going to be doing. But, until then, bye. Man, we have collected kind of a few of those artworks now, huh? You know, originally I thought it was just going to be a cute way of kind of memorializing all the worlds that we've been to, all the different games we've played. And, well, for a deeper lore purpose, it was just kind of worthwhile to me anyway to have a visual representation on a map. But I really don't think that's all I want it to be. I think they need a little bit of a bigger highlight. Maybe something that we could look at every time, rather than just once in a while, you know? I wonder.